The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. It has been that kind of roller coaster week if you are a Creighton Blue Jays fan. Welcome back to another episode of Dennis and the Doc. I am the Doc. I am joined by the Dennis. We are on the heels, so it is. We decided we were going to get it out right away because we just played a triple overtime Big East Classic and defeated Seton Hall in Newark. Mr. Dennis, how do we feel today?
It's a gutsy win. It's I don't know. There's a lot to say about the game. Credit to the team for finding a way to get it done. Some stuff against you. Some of it your fault, some of it not.
Yes.
I don't know. Good win. A win that you had to have if you're any sort of serious about achieving any of the goals that you said you hope to achieve this year.
Right, because the Big East is just not going to be forgiving this year. So you can't look at it and say, like, oh, well, Seton Hall, they're at the top of the conference. If we don't win this one, it's okay. It really wouldn't have been.
Yeah. I guess it would have been okay in a narrow, like you said, in a narrow individual scope. However, at some point on the macro level, you have to start winning coin flip games.
Right.
And maybe, like, you have to win away from home, not against Georgetown and special needs DePaul.
Yeah.
Like, you had to beat a legit team, and you did it. So.
Yeah. So great stuff today. We will have a lot of happy stuff to talk about. We also have not done one since Wednesday, which was UConn, and it was another reason why today's game felt so must-win, because it was a beating, it was embarrassing, it was pretty much, and we can look at it through this lens now, which kind of feels unfair, but it was pretty much the opposite of everything we saw today.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was no fight. You got killed on the glass, and to a point, some of rebounding's effort. And
you'll find me arguing that most of it is.
Yeah, and the effort was not there at all. I think UConn had like a 50% old board rate, slightly less.
It was 42.4.
Yeah,
something very, very
inexcusable.
No, I'm sorry. That wasn't UConn's. I saw this today, that was what Seton Hall's O board rate was in Big East play, was 42%. Okay. But UConn's was right there.
Something. Yeah. The exact number isn't important, but it was a terrible effort.
Yes.
The offense was bad, uninspired. There was no creativity. You didn't go down low at all. You got bad shots. You missed the open shots. You did get it. It was bad.
Yep. It was, and like, don't tell me we can't tell the difference between when a team looks like they're playing with effort and when they're not, because all I'll say is look at today's game.
Yep. Night
and day difference, just in the way we were moving, the aggressiveness. We forced turnovers today. For the second time in a week, we ended the game with less turnovers than the other team.
Yeah. And I will, speaking on turnovers, I was going to get into more of the game, but 55 minutes of basketball, 5 turnovers, that's ridiculous. Outstanding work in that department, and in a triple overtime game, that's why you win. Yeah. Every possession matters, and that's why you won. So
because like, again, you look up and down the shot numbers. What do we shoot, like 36% as a team?
Yeah, not great. I know we were just over 1 point per possession. I think we had like 108.
Yeah, you didn't win that game because you were making shots. You won that game because every possession ended in a shot.
Yeah, exactly. So hats off in that department, and that's why you won the game.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, UConn, like, it was one of those games, like, again, you have been more right than I have, certainly, this year about that team, but neither of us thought we were going to win. Mm-hmm. I certainly thought we'd keep it close, at least for a while. It was a drubbing, and it exposed every single one of this team's weaknesses.
Yeah, and for as great as today was, it taught me a little bit about the team. It doesn't really change my long-term outlook that much. Seton Hall isn't a top 50 team by most metrics.
Right.
It's a road win against a respectable team that probably makes the tournament. That alone should...
means something.
It means something. I don't think today means you're a Final Four contender.
It's a quad 1 win, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you didn't go beat a top 25 team on the road. Mm-hmm. Although, you could argue they maybe deserve to be up. The AP, if you want to say polling is different than metrics, and maybe they should have been ranked, but not metrically. Like, again, it's about saying UConn didn't get it done there. Marquette didn't get it done there. You got it done
Yeah.
But like if I pose the question to you, do you think we are? Which game did you learn more from? This week?
I guess today.
I think so.
Today, and I think that probably depends a little bit. Like UConn went exactly the way I thought it would go.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Like I don't know if most people would agree with us that this game was the one we learned more from. Because I think the general consensus in the fan base is that we are closer to the team we were today than the team we were on Wednesday. Whereas before that, I'm not sure we would have agreed with that.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure. Like, I today doesn't change anything for me on the long-term outlook. And call me pessimistic if you want. I don't really care. I still think the ceiling is a 5 seed where you get a good draw and you make a Sweet 16.
I mean, I'm fine with that at this point. Well, I'm not fine with that. That almost says something right there that I reacted so quickly to that, and that's how far the bar got lowered this year.
I'd be fine with that now. I wouldn't have taken that preseason or a month ago, which, again, says something.
It feels like a salvage effort still, a little
bit.
Like, does that win, like, I think it put us up to, like, almost 20% to win the conference, which is probably ridiculous.
Yeah, I would lay 4-1 pretty easily.
So, like, does it technically mean something for our ceiling? Yeah, I guess. Because, like, we said at the beginning of this year you needed to get a championship out of this season. Like, if we win the Big East tournament, I will still... If we win the Big East tournament and... is a 32 enough at that point, or a 16? Does it still have to be? Because I'm trying to think, like, if
Big
you get a Big East
championship...
championship...
and a 32, I can live with it. Big East and a Sweet 16, I'll say the year is fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you win a championship and make the Sweet 16 this year. Yeah. I think you'll find very few people who are upset with that, even who had the highest expectations.
Yeah, for the record, on your Torvik, Creighton is 4.7% to win the conference outright, 12.1 share.
Yeah, that's okay. So that must be why.
So,
well, and that was probably before Marquette won today as well. So
yeah, maybe. We actually have better. We have the second best odds still.
But. Yeah, I mean that's probably right at this point.
I guess, yeah. I don't see.
I feel really good about my UConn ticket.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
for
so
sure.
mad I didn't ride that. Like, I just wasn't even thinking.
I just got lucky. Like, I was kind of thinking about it in the moment. I'm like, there's no way UConn isn't winning the conference this year.
Yeah, that was good.
The fact that Hall jumped out to that start and was like their only competition, record-wise. But anyways, yeah, UConn, like, what we all should have taken away from the UConn game was still massive athleticism problems.
Yeah.
We are a team that for years has had problems with getting blown out on the road. It's still a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, still a worry. But our defense was good. You know, like that. The
defense is not the issue.
No, like right now, if you have not realized by this point that we are not an offensive team this year, you're not paying close enough attention.
Mm-hmm. Creighton unders.
Yeah.
Except, wow, they put up 192 points today. I would set that next line.
Back up. Yeah.
I would set that next line really high.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Xavier this week?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't look. I know we got DePaul on Saturday for the pink out.
Yeah, that might be a Creighton over, actually. Yeah, home Xavier on Tuesday.
That's a good follow-up game after this one.
Yeah, Ken Palm has it 145. I'd probably take the under. I don't know.
I would lean it just because did you see Xavier's defense against Georgetown? I don't know.
It wasn't great. Yeah, that's true.
You like to believe Miller will get them in shape for the next one. Won't let that happen again, but I don't know. The UConn game is what it is. It was and here's the thing: people I saw were like coming back to your tweets from even earlier today.
Yeah,
we're making conclusions in the moment.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go back and relitigate everything I've said after every game. Mm-hmm. It was true at the time. That's good enough for me. Like, same thing. People are like saying like, "Oh, you were shitting on Ashworth a couple of weeks ago," and I said this verbatim. I said no one wants him to be successful more than I do.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to our preseason podcast, we could not have raved about him more.
Correct.
I want him to be the player that we think we were getting, because if for no other reason, I want to stick it to fucking Ryan Nemhard.
Yeah.
But no, like, I do still have faith in him, but that doesn't mean I'm going to, like, take back when I said he was playing poorly, because he was playing poorly.
Well, even today when I said send him back to Utah, like, was that kind of harsh? Yeah, but they're like, he showed you wrong. I'm like, okay, at the time he was 1 of 7 from 3. Like,
yeah.
He was 1 of 7 from 3 and had just missed a free throw that would have helped ice the game. Like,
right.
Are we really gonna go back and say, oh, he played great today? Like, I don't really think so. He hit a couple big shots. He was fine.
Right. Like if I was doing grades today, I probably won't because I don't think I watched the game quite close enough to do that. I was actually in a place where I had to remain silent and watch on my phone that whole time, and that was difficult. But like, yeah, he's getting a B probably. Yeah, like fine. Played pretty good defense. Yeah. I mean, okay, so like I will say this too, like I'm probably being harsher on him than I realize because he just does not turn the fucking ball over anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of a sudden too, like he had a couple of games, where he had issues with that, and it's gone. Somebody I don't remember who, I just read it right before we came on the air, put out a number like he's turned the ball, or it was number of Big East games with 0 turnovers and at least a certain amount of synergy usage or something like that. And he already has more of those games than Zagorowski, than Mo Watson, than like the best point guards. Granted, he splits point guard work with Trey, but still.
Yeah, he's been fine lately. I think if you get this player the rest of the year, you probably have to take it.
Yes, yeah. Well, because, I mean, you can say, like, well, we were kind of winning games with him not playing well, so if he is playing well, we should, be in a little better shape. You still need him to be a very good player for this team to discover any kind of ceiling.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because it's at the point now where you can't rely on anyone for shooting on this team.
No.
Like, Baylor's still the closest, and, somebody was trying to argue with me, like, he's shooting 37%, like, isn't that really good? Like, not for what we need him to do.
Yeah, it's fine.
We generate so few kinds of offense efficiently that the kinds we do generate need to be remarkably efficient. Like, I use the word elite. Like, Kalkbrenner is an elite 2-point finisher. Mm-hmm. We are historically an elite 3-point shooting team and a very, very good free throw team in the last couple of years. So those are the things you absolutely need to do well, because we won't do it other ways.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You want to get in the nitty-gritty of the game?
Yeah, we might as well. I'm sure that's what I was going to say. I think that's what anyone would be interested in.
Yeah, I'll have to timestamp this, I'm sure. But so I thought the end of the game officiating was terrible. I don't know how Seton Hall. So Creighton's argument is numerous missed calls against them. Seton Hall's upset about a foul on Creighton being called a foul, and a rule that doesn't exist.
Yes.
There's
no comparison.
Let's get that out of the way right now. I had time today to just fight with people online. Guys, you can't travel on an inbounds. That's not a rule. You can run in place and take 50 steps for 5 seconds.
Well, okay, do they call it traveling when you break the box, as it's called?
No, it's an inbounds violation. So you can't start sprinting up and down.
Because that's what I mean. It's not like, don't think of the definition of traveling. That does not apply. It's still like moving. It's just not literally
what Farabello did was fine.
Yeah.
That shows again the fucking bimbos we have announcing games.
Oh, these.
That's not a slur, is it? That's just a. I don't think
it's a anti-females. Maybe. Okay. I don't think so.
All right, I had to make sure.
Yeah.
The fucking idiots we have because he's like, oh, you traveler, dude. That's not a rule. Like, you can do spin moves. You can jump up and down. You can take 10 steps. You get a 3-foot box, which Farabello stayed at.
I learned that in like 2nd grade basketball.
Yeah, it's not a rule.
Yeah.
So, which again shows like, and I'll give some leniency to Seton Hall fans bitching about it. The announcer said that's a travel. If I'm not super
if you're the
familiar,
casual fan,
I'm gonna hear him say it's a travel, and I'm gonna think it's a travel.
Right.
So as an announcer, you have to be better than that. You have to fucking know the sport you're talking about. That said, that's not a rule. That wasn't a violation of any sort. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And they're all like, well, what do you think? Shaheen was just getting mad about nothing? No, he thought he stepped on the line.
Yeah,
that's what he pointed at.
I don't think he did either.
No, he didn't. I watched it back. And what's a coach not going to try and get a call in the moment?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of fucking missed calls, and I had like people that I respect who are unbiased, like, no, do not care about Creighton, do not care about Seton Hall, and he's
Jim
even
Root.
Yeah,
Jim Root.
Go 3 Man Weave. Yes, listen to 3 Man Weave. Great pod. And he's openly admitted to saying, I like home cooking, which I think is a terrible take.
I
but
do too.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't need to agree with someone on everything. And even he's like, yeah, this is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Kalkbrenner getting mugged, then Seton Hall coming down with, like, in front of the ref in space, just clearly pushes him out of the way.
One?
Yeah. Just pushes him out of the way. And then Ashworth getting fucking clobbered on that layup.
Like,
that was insane.
The Kalkbrenner one, when you watch it back, you're looking at the ref, and it looks like he's looking through the backboard. So I'm like, all right, maybe there's a prayer you miss one of those two. The Ashworth one, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Ran fucking over.
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know if it was in double or triple OT, but then you had Ashworth pick up a soft fucking reach foul 70 feet from the hoop.
Yeah.
You had where Miller secured the rebound underneath Seton Hall's hoop and just gets shoved for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And they're just like, out of bounds, Seton Hall ball. Where you think he just like decided to walk out? Like that's what you think fucking happened? It was ridiculous.
It was bad. Like, again, I wasn't listening to the commentary the whole time. I had like a little earphone in, but I couldn't really hear anything. But I'm watching. I do not fundamentally understand A, how that wasn't called, B, how you can argue it was a good call.
I don't get it at all. And the fucking when Creighton goes up 4 in the first overtime, and the guy, different play. The guy runs over Trey. I don't know how you're supposed to play defense there. The guy 5 feet away doesn't call anything. The other ref comes running in from half court. Not only does he call a foul, they call it shooting.
Yeah,
when the ball never. And I said it so live. I'm like, why the fuck is that a shooting foul? And no one mentioned, like, none of the announcers mentioned it. They're like, that's weird. They're going to shoot here. Because again, they're probably too fucking busy trying to figure out the rule book.
Because we were still at, what, 5 fouls?
That would have been the 6th.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes. And they gave him 2 shots. And so, with all that being said, Creighton, you also did a ton of dumb. The Trey Alexander foul on the 3-pointer was maybe the worst foul I've ever seen. Like,
that was terrible.
He just, for no reason,
and so out of character.
That's what I said. I think it was Ashworth had good on-ball defense there.
Yeah.
Like, if he makes it, fine.
Yeah.
And Alexander just took 3 steps and ran him over. Like, there's no debate that it wasn't a foul. Like, he just ran him over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he had a wide open shot or anything, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta go sprint at him to close out, and he overdoes it. Like, the defense was fine, and he just randomly sprinted at him and ran him over.
Yeah. Well, because they did the exact same thing in the triple overtime, where they were down, 6 with 20 seconds left or something. You let them shoot the 3.
Yeah.
They make it, they miss it, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's Alamir Dawes. It's not fucking Steph Curry out there.
I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know what Farabello was doing on the inbound pass when you had a timeout.
You had a timeout. And I hate the fucking, aggressive run the floor thing.
Yeah.
I think you are better off shuffling, 2 steps either way. Because, when he does that and he, takes off and runs in the other direction, you are looking at, 8% of the court.
Yeah.
There's, one spot you could pass the ball to there.
Yeah.
So he gets stuck. There was 1 guy on this side of the court and 3 guys on the other side. He's running to the weak side with, a second left to get rid of the ball. I do not understand.
And again, you had a timeout. And if you don't have a timeout in that spot, and you're like, I'm fucked, just, throw it deep. And at least then if they pick it off, you can, play defense.
Yeah.
And you weren't, that was kind of, I think it was a foul. I don't think anyone would have complained if they did call it a foul.
Oh, the one right after?
Yeah, when Farabello fouled, which I guess, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but if he did, credit to having the presence of mind to foul the guy there.
I guess, yeah.
Which also, Seton Hall, you could have just made the 2 free throws there instead of missing one.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was. Stephen Ashworth, 96% free throw shooter. He's lucky he made the first one.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then missed the second one. Again, that would have helped ice the game, which was contributing to saying send him to Utah. He missed multiple open threes and down the stretch regulation, overtime. Shireman missed multiple open threes. For as bad as the refs were, you also did a lot to not help yourself.
Oh, yeah.
If we would have lost regulation first overtime, I would have put a lot of the blame on the refs. you also did a lot of things yourself to not help, specifically in that second overtime.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And part of it too was just getting cold. Like Mason got 2 or 3 great looks in those first 2 overtimes and just bricked the shit out of them. Ashworth, I think again he took 1 bad shot. He's got a little bit of that in him, where there's 26 seconds on the clock and he pulls up from 30 feet.
Yeah.
Which
I also don't hate because maybe it's just scars from the UConn game where if we had a shot hit the rim, I considered it a good possession. Where I was like, you know what, if we get an open 3 at any time, just fucking shoot. I don't care.
Yeah.
Now I get what you're saying. I thought the refs were terrible. Like you were given more than 5 seconds, which I think is somewhat common on one of the amount. You could have been called for a 5-second.
Yeah.
You are lucky you got the foul called underneath after the Farabello turnover.
Yep.
But you had a lot go against you. It was really bad, and in aggregate, really against you. So with all that being said, and again, I want to... Creighton... It going to a third overtime was largely Creighton's fault.
Yeah.
With that being said, after doing that and then getting down 5 pretty quickly in the third overtime, very impressive to rally and find a way.
Oh, I thought it was over.
I was pretty confident
absolutely convinced it was over. We got down 5 and that's when I think Mason missed at least one of his.
Yeah, he might have. Did we get down 5 and he missed one, or was that to Trey? Or no, I think Baylor got fouled because I think after we were down 5, we cut it to 3 with 2 free throws, if I recall.
I thought Dawes had a 3 to go up by 8, and he missed it off the side of the glass.
I'll pull up the play-by-play here. But Nevada about to take a brutal loss in Laramie. That is not what you need for your at-large.
Yeah, they're probably the most dangerous one at this point to not make it.
I was talking Mountain West.
Yep. Boise State, we'll shout them out today. Another quad 1 win.
Yeah, I turned that off. They only fucking won by 1.
Yeah.
I turned it off. They're up 8 with 30 seconds left. New Mexico cooking. Yeah. New Mexico cooking. They're still fun as hell. By the way, if you bet Creighton -2.5, go to church tomorrow. Let's see. What do we got here? So I was up. They're up 5. Shireman hit 2 free throws. They split 2 free throws. Ashworth made 1. Okay, so they're up 5. Miller missed a 3. Shireman offensive rebound.
Oh, okay.
And then got fouled on the offensive rebound.
So I was a little out of order there.
Yeah, whatever. So it was largely Trey Alexander's fault. You were in the third overtime.
Yes.
Because again, that foul on the 3 is one of the 5 stupidest fouls I've ever seen.
Well, he fouled, and he missed one of the free throws too.
No, he made all 3.
In regulation, I thought he missed one.
Oh, Trey? Yeah. Did he miss a front end?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So again, yeah.
I thought him and Ashworth both missed front end. Him, Ashworth, and Kalk all missed a front end.
Ashworth made the first, missed the second.
Yeah. And
Kalk
Baylor was the only one who hit both.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to say Trey was incredible because it was largely his fault you were there.
Yeah.
But he came up huge in overtime.
He hit the 2 shots he had to hit, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I think it's going to be with him for the rest of the year. Is if he makes them at the right time, we're going to love him. If he doesn't, those splits are going to look pretty ugly. Because we're starting to get real used to him shooting 5 of 15 from the field, where that was very much not the case last year.
The Jamal Mashburn of the Big East, other Mountain West reference. Shout out the Lobos. So yeah, resilient win. You did just enough. It would have been easy to fold, especially in the third overtime. Had a lot going against you. Tough to win on the road. Take it. It probably should have been a little easier. But yeah, hell of a win.
Yep. And it should be said, I think we've kind of made this point before, just the ability to have these guys on the team who can play ridiculous minutes without flinching, right?
Yeah. Actually, I want to circle back to that point.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, so I also made this point. I don't know if I made this on my burner or my actual account, but it's something.
Dox yourself.
Whatever, you can figure it out. I don't give a shit. I don't have skeletons in the closet. I probably do, but so I've kind of been starting to come to this conclusion for a bit, and I think today exemplified it very well. So it's at this point not even a tinfoil hat that refs call less fouls on the home team. Oh, I don't know about that call. They call less fouls on the home team. You can get away with more at home. Certain teams tailor their defensive strategy to it. Creighton obviously builds their defense on not fouling, playing straight up, playing true defense. Yeah, there's not a foul. And
sorry, folks, we're watching the UConn,
yeah, we're watching
UConn
UConn Nova too,
yeah.
and we'll probably be on Packers 49ers in a minute too.
Yeah. So the couple of our followers that are Packers fans,
yeah,
you'll get a little crossover content soon.
Yeah. So.
But anyway,
So when you have teams that can just get away with mugging you at home, like I don't necessarily blame the teams for doing it.
No,
because when you foul, like the best case scenario is that it's called incorrectly and you give yourself an advantage.
Yeah.
Like if you commit 30 fouls and a half, which I think a lot of I guarantee you Seton Hall by the rule book probably commits 25 fouls and a half. I think St. John's probably commits 25 fouls and a half.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfair to say.
And again, this is being very if you go, yeah, Ole Miss is such a fraud.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're 90th in Ken Pop.
Yeah. Man, they're gonna go from 14-0 to missing the tournament. That's gonna be kind of.
They're gonna be last year's Clemson, where they go 23-7 and with no good wins. If you read the rule book where it says, anytime you put a forearm on a guy in the post, that's supposed to be a foul.
Yeah.
Anytime you put two hands on a guy, that's supposed to be a foul. I'm not saying all of this should or shouldn't be called. In fact, it shouldn't be called every time. But you're putting pressure on refs to not make certain foul calls and to let stuff go. We don't do that, and I'm not saying we can't play the way St. John's does. We don't have athletes. We can't get in your face. We're not Houston. We're not gonna. Right. We're not going to pick teams up 45 feet from the hoop and press. The scheme that we run is the right scheme for this person. I'm not going to say, again, I want to be abundantly clear. I'm not saying, Xavier, we need to pick him up 94 feet, be guarding guys at the half-court logo. That's not going to work for our team.
Right.
But playing the way we do puts you at a huge disadvantage because you're not getting away with stuff at home. When refs are letting stuff go, that's only affecting you negatively.
Yeah.
So, if refs say, okay, we're not going to call hand checks, we're not going to call fouls, well, we don't hand check. We don't body teams, really. We don't get in your grill and commit these sort of soft fouls that sometimes are called, sometimes aren't. And that hurts you because in a game like today, where they just say, we're swallowing the whistle, do what you want, we don't play, we're going to get chest to chest to you. And so it hurts our offense much more than it hurts their offense. And again, if you want to debate should refs call games that way, whole different debate, but they do.
Right.
So I don't think there's anything you can do about it for this team. I do think there's something to be said for in the future getting more guys, being more athletic that can put ball pressure to give you more of a home court advantage. I think it's a big deal. And you're not going to see the benefits Seton Hall got today because you don't play that way.
I don't know how many teams are going to see the benefits they got today. They had 5 fouls going into overtime.
No, that's a ridiculous...
it's an extreme
It's an extreme example, but part of the... Providence has a great home crowd. Part of the reason they're so good there is because they're taught just mug you. They're not going to call everything.
Yeah.
And again, if they're not calling everything, why wouldn't you do that? I said today, it kind of came off as being upset, and there was some of that tone. But I said, if you're Seton Hall, why are you even trying to play defense without fouling? Just ride guys. We haven't even talked about when Ashworth got fucking mugged at half court. I think that was end of second overtime, and they just said, we're not calling that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just mug guys? And if they call two, if you come down twice and they call 2 hand checks, okay, fine, we can't do that anymore. But until they start calling that, why wouldn't you just body guys and get overly physical? And so it's an issue, and it puts you at a disadvantage, and I don't really know what you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it this year.
No, this doesn't get fixed overnight.
Yeah, it's a personnel thing. Again, drop is the perfect defense for the team we have. There's going to be pros and cons to it. But in the future, I do think you need to get guys that can defend better, that are willing to get physical, because you put yourself at such a disadvantage in scenarios like this one.
Well, and I will say, too, this is not the way it's always been. We have not been, a drop coverage, no foul team forever. Mm-hmm. McDermott has shown that he is willing to adapt that. Because, we are not going to have the personnel to do it next year. There is one Ryan Kalkbrenner in college basketball right now who can do this coverage as effectively as he does it. Next year, if we are really starting Fred King as center, first of all, our defense is going to be terrible.
Yeah, which I was kind of thinking Fred King was good at the start of the year. He sucks.
He's not. It's the night and day difference between when he's playing a competent opponent and not.
Did you see the one foul where it was almost like Trey's foul on the three, where he started about a foot off the baseline, guy shot it just out of the arc, he just sprinted and ran him over. Didn't jump or anything, just ran through him. It's yeah, it's gonna be a foul every time, Freddie.
I'm still lead Fred King appreciator. But my goodness, has he been terrible in conference play?
Yeah, he's unplayable against good teams.
Yeah, and we started making this point, so I'll just stick with it and segue in here. You cannot give Kalkbrenner a breather.
Yeah.
You just can't. Thank God he has the best stamina of any big man in the country by twofold.
Yeah.
But you cannot give him a second off the floor right now. We'd better get out on Xavier early so we can play King a little bit, because dude's got to get a break at some point. This is a great week to get him some rest, so don't come out slow against either of these teams.
Best I can do is a 5-point halftime lead that's 15 by the under or the first media timeout, and is 4 by the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's got to be a catch there somewhere. That sounded great.
That's the best I can do for you.
Yeah. Well, that's what it'll be. But that stretch between the under 16 and the
I was gonna say that was your tweet, right? Where it's college basketball games were played exclusively between second half inbounds and the first media timeout. We'd have 8 banners or something like that.
Yeah, we'd be doing wooden numbers in the rafters.
Yeah.
Not so much these last few weeks, but
no.
That much is a McDermott staple. We come out of halftime and go on 16-2 runs like no team I've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm. And then promptly go on 2-16 runs.
Yeah, get complacent.
Basically, should we just shoot around for an extra 10 minutes the first time? Just roll a die, create you're either up 2 or down 2 more than what you went into halftime as.
Yeah.
Let's just play 10 minutes and save everyone some time.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much we could talk about from today's game to we've talked about Ashworth getting blown up on that layup, but first of all, doing that in the first place, ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a hell of a finish. And again, there's a guy literally on top of him.
Yeah.
You're that seems fine.
He had one angle to make that shot, and that's a tough finish. He didn't exactly make it look easy, because I don't think there's any way to make that look easy, but that is about as hard of a finish as you're ever going to find.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great finish. And again, I was when I said send him to Utah, am I being serious? No. But also, again, he had a great final minute and a half. Let's not act like he was without responsibility for also putting us in some of the holes we were in. So I don't know. It's a good win. I don't think it changes that much of my macro outlook.
No, my season outlook doesn't change based on today.
Seton Hall's fine. They also were out there without who'd probably been their best player for the final 10 minutes.
But that should be the case.
Which again, now, if you want to say okay, counterpoint, maybe there is some benefit to playing without fouling. I know you said. And I think it's probably a balance. I think you said Shireman played 55 minutes today without a foul.
That's that was a terrible pass. Yeah, what are you even doing?
Yeah, nice play call.
There you go. We're talking Packers.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played 55 minutes without fouling. I said that is maybe good and maybe bad. Definitely more good than bad, but there's definitely some bad in that too.
I mean, that should have been a first down. Why'd you just stand out of bounds for no reason?
I don't know. I don't. That was one of the strangers.
That should have got you 4 yards. Well, let's move it back 5 more. So yeah, again, don't take the good with the bad. Take this win, celebrate it. If you don't celebrate the peaks during a college basketball season, that would be bad. Zach Tom walking to the sidelines, that's a big deal. It's going to be a very miserable experience for you, but as we saw 4 short days ago, this doesn't mean you're on the level of UConn.
No.
I think Marquette sucks, but I still think they're probably better than you.
Well, I got a UConn reply guy now that's in my mentions all the time, and I sent that tweet like, you got it done in a building that UConn didn't get it done. He's like, well, what? You got waxed by UConn a week ago. Now you think you're on the same level? I'm like, no, that's not at all what that says. But that's like, if you really are, because like, I am a believer in sports of it's not over until it's over, because what's the point otherwise?
What the fuck is that spot?
That's a terrible spot. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of we are contending for a Big East championship until we are mathematically eliminated, then it's a win that they didn't get, and that matters. Like, you lost games that they're going to win. You lost at home to Nova. You lost I guess not that many teams are going to win up at Pfizer, but still, yeah, that's a horrible.
What the fuck is that spot, ref? It's not even down. Challenge it. Challenge it.
Yep, they're doing it.
Jesus Christ, dude. Refs versus Packers. Nice if we could get a call one time.
They all just want to see Brock Purdy play for a Super Bowl.
I mean, that's the 3rd time they've been hosed. That's not even close.
He's not down. He's
just on top
down
of it.
Right there when his elbow lands.
Yeah, no shit.
Clear first down.
You're only off by 2 feet, fucking dumbass. Jesus. I don't want to be anti-refs guy, but oh my god, it's just been one thing after another today. Fucking hell. So I don't know. I think that covers most of the game.
Yeah. Enjoy it a little bit. Like I've always said, I'm a terrible sports fan because I get such little joy out of wins. It just feels like relief at best. Today felt good.
It was like yeah, you're just like so. I feel like again I had to earn that one.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm telling you, having to stay silent during that game was a nightmare. I'm jumping out of my chair in the back, and for like a half hour too. Those overtimes were not short.
No. I was gonna go to the gym to watch the second half of Boise San Diego State, and I caught like the final 2 minutes.
Yeah. Jay's game ends right back to CBS.
A quick national conversation. I don't know if
let's do it. So that'll conclude Jay's talk for today.
Yeah.
Or not. No, it definitely won't. There's more. Stay and listen to this part, just in case there's more Jay's talk.
Okay, sure. Oh,
nobody listens to our national ones.
Jesus Christ. I think looking nationally, and I don't know, I guess maybe people say this every year, this to me seems like the fewest teams ever that could win the title.
Is it the fewest, or is it that, like, if 2 teams get eliminated, then anyone can win?
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Because I'm like, yeah, UConn can win again. Purdue can win.
Yep.
I still think Arizona can win.
They're lucky if they played... Nice catch, doofus.
They're doing what they always do.
If they played anyone except UCLA today, they lose.
Yeah. I mean, I think North Carolina can win.
Can North Carolina win?
Can they? Yeah, I think they can.
Probably. Hubert sucks as a coach.
Yeah.
and I don't know if they play enough defense. Actually, their defense ranked 4th. Huh. All right, yeah, I'd put Carolina in that group.
I mean, we're getting close to the end of it, though.
Ref!
Holy cow.
Ref!
He might have stepped out of bounds by that point, but...
Holy refs versus Packers. Jones just got his fucking head ripped off.
Pretty clear face mask from a Bears perspective, I'm not going to lie to you.
Jesus.
From a Bears Iowa State fan that actually has quite an interest in seeing the Packers lose this game.
Got him? Flag!
Yeah.
Bang.
That's easy.
No better play than the underthrown deep ball. Good, that's a good podcasting.
Market inefficiency.
Yeah. Okay, so Alabama, why the fuck are they still 8th?
Yeah, at this point, it's becoming like a joke of itself. They have not beaten a good team yet.
I mean, they kept it within 25 today against Tennessee.
Yeah.
That should count for something.
Man, I'm really, like, disappointed in that. Like, because you could watch them and say, like, yeah, that should be a good team. And they just aren't.
Yeah. They won at Mississippi State, which is decent.
Yeah, it's not nothing, I guess.
Other than that, their best win is home versus Indiana State without their best player.
Yeah. Not great. Not great, folks. That win is not doing anything for us come March. Like, that's the part I do lament a little bit. Not that we've actually had a ton of opportunities to have that win that pops up on your March Madness graphic and says, like, here's why you moved up a seed.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't think... Oh, come on.
Touchdown!
Thankfully, I don't think we have that loss anymore either. Because now at least the UNLV one ain't showing up.
Yeah, UNLV's done a lot to help out. That's still not a good loss, but
it's quad.
That might finish quad
2
1
now, right? Yeah, so it's not showing up on that graphic.
They're 77th in KenPom right now. There's a very good chance that finishes 1.
Yeah.
Although I guess I don't know if
they
that's
gotta
neutral.
They got to get to 50, yeah, in the net, which is less forgiving.
Which again, just fucking play them at their court if you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's going to prove to be a real bad decision. It's just never going to age well. But it's all right because we got to promote Let It Fly. So
yeah, fucking over. Yeah, if you want to pay $18 for a burger, I know
for like a perfectly fine hamburger.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the teams I think can win the title. Houston, I'd say yes.
Yes.
And I don't feel great about that.
I don't either.
But I think if you were giving me, like, I'm just going down the list of KenPom. Purdue, I'd say yes. Arizona. I don't trust that team.
I'm going to say yes.
You're going to say yes. I don't fucking trust that team.
That's fine. And you're probably going to be the one who's right. But, like,
Speaking of teams like Tennessee, I like them, but, like,
I do too.
Again, I'm not going to trust you.
No, yeah. You get one bad officiating crew that doesn't like the way they play, and you're out.
Yeah. And you still haven't made an Elite Eight under Barnes.
Yeah.
Also, quick homework. Go back and watch Tennessee Purdue from 19. God, was that a fucking great game.
Which, the tournament game?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all-time game.
Purdue played some awesome games in that tournament. That Virginia game was ridiculous.
If Purdue wins that title, it's looked back on like one of the most fun title runs of all time.
That was a great tournament. That was such a
tournament.
There were not many upsets, but there were great games.
Which, that's another take for another day, but like, not having upsets in the tournament,
it
kind of helps.
it improves the quality of it a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think the ideal tournament is I think if you get a decent amount of upsets round 1, like a good
very chalky.
A good 5-13 game where the 5 comes out.
Yeah.
And like maybe you get like 1-12 seed.
Or it's just like where one region just gets fucked to hell and everything else stays kind of chalky.
But when you...
Because that's very, what was that, 2018? The Loyola region went to hell and everything else was pretty chalk.
Yeah. Yeah, you had 3 seed Michigan, 1 seed Nova, and 1 seed Kansas.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Okay. So Tennessee, maybe...
I could
maybe,
get behind it.
Probably, but I'm going to pick against you until you prove me wrong.
Right.
You've proven me right 6 times.
If they get picked to Memphis, maybe I'll consider it.
Yeah.
If they get sent to Memphis.
Memphis also had one of the maybe most undeserved top 5 or top 10 rankings ever, and then promptly blew a 20-point home lead to USF.
That's what the poll is for, though. Like I'm on board now with the poll and metrics just being completely different things that are not reflective of each other whatsoever.
But I mean, like even
like the poll is like the fantasy made up world where you get to have like a top 10 win that actually doesn't mean anything.
And like, what was the difference? Like Memphis Memphis' best win, I guess, was home versus Clemson. Like it's not like
it was just margin that they were beating.
They'd stacked.
They were killing teams.
I don't think they were. That's why the metrics hate them, because they did kill teams.
But like, my point is, the average AP voter is going to look at them. Whoa, look at that.
I don't mean the community don't see. They do not kill teams. They killed Virginia, with the exception of that. Whatever. Not the point. They cannot. Memphis cannot win the title.
No, they cannot win the title.
Especially with Mills hurt. UConn, yes. Auburn, metrics love them. Admittedly, I haven't watched a ton of them this year.
I've watched one game. I don't think they're a title team, but if they made like an Elite Eight, I wouldn't be surprised.
You got a good coach.
Or I guess that's technically what they'd be, predicted right now. So
UNC, I'm with you. I don't like Hubert as a coach. I don't think he's a good coach.
I think if they didn't make it, he would be why.
Probably. I mean, that's... Again, I think I've said this on the pod. Harrison Ingram being a stud for them shows you what a fucking idiot Jared Haas is at Stanford. So yeah, I'd say yes. Alabama's 8. I'm just going down the list in Ken Palm. Alabama's 8. They cannot win the title.
Could Alabama be the highest Ken Palm team to not make the tournament?
Dude, I saw Lenardi had them as like a 4 seed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm so sick of people doing brackets this early in the year. I say as I released my first one earlier this week, because they don't they're all over the place.
12-6 Alabama with 2 top 50 wins, one of which being Indiana State at home, down their best player.
I think I had him as a 7.
Probably Valley Conference Player of the Year. And this is kind of rich coming from us who were 6 seeds, only that because of the metrics.
Yep.
But still.
Yep, that's true.
So if you want to put Bama as a 6 seed, because again, Bama on record alone should not be in the tournament.
Yeah.
So if you want to say, like, put them in, fine, they can't be a 4 seed. At some point, their results have to matter. Speaking of teams that the metrics love, BYU, they can't win the title.
They're not winning it. I don't think they're winning 2 games in the tournament.
Probably
ever.
not.
Like, ever.
I mean, yeah, they can shoot the shit out of the ball. Well, did I tell you that? Yeah, I told you they blew a 20-point lead today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas Tech minus 2.5, never a doubt. Illinois, if Shannon's back and playing,
I've been on the Illinois train for a while. I'm definitely in favor.
Fucking go! Watching the game!
Nice coverage. Yeah, we're recording the pod right now. Any hot takes?
We gotta walk in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my room right here. Any hot takes?
On what?
College basketball.
Nah, I'm not your guy.
Okay. Duke, absolutely not. They're frauds. I don't know why.
I don't think
people they're losing today. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know what the score is.
They almost lost to Georgia Tech either earlier this week or last week.
Either earlier this week. After they did lose to them, they're currently down 4 with 30 seconds left at home to Pitt.
Yeah, they're not. They're not anything.
Oh, damn.
At the very least, I'll say that's not a team that's built to win games in the tournament, and at the most, I'll say they're frauds.
Wisconsin? Maybe?
Final Four candidate.
Yeah.
Final Four candidate.
Final Four candidate. If all goes to shit, sure, they could be the 3 seed who just survives.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah, there it
That was a big change from 3rd and 6 to that 2 plays later. Baylor, no. Kentucky, I'm not a Kentucky fan.
I don't think they could win the title. I could see him as a Final Four team.
We'll see what this new foreign guy that got cleared today does.
Yeah.
I know he went off today.
Yeah.
So I was going to say other notable ones. Kansas, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think this Kansas team is that good.
I've been off on them for a while.
Yeah. Michigan State, no, get them the fuck out of here. They better not be in the tournament at this rate.
They probably will. We talked about that, like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
It's probably just going to be a repeat of the first 4 team from 22, 21. What year was that? When they lost to UCLA. So that'd be 1. Where like they're going to get in because the name on their jerseys. It's not a good team. They should not be. They're
getting in over Nevada.
I was going to say, they're going to be the team that mid-major madness gets all upset about saying, like, this... If James Madison doesn't win the Sun Belt and goes, like, 28-5, and when they get left out in favor of Michigan State, then everyone's going to get up in arms, and I'm going to say, like, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Like, at some point, you got to win games.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten's not good this year.
The Big Ten's not good enough to justify 500 records getting into the tournament this year.
Yeah. FAU, I don't know what's wrong with them, but I mean, beating Arizona on a neutral is still.
What's wrong? It's got to be a motivation.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
like you're losing no-name games left and right. That's not happening by accident. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, certainly don't think we're missing anybody. I mean, you talk about teams that, Baylor probably
doesn't
not.
play defense.
Yeah. You talk about teams that were there at the start of the year that aren't in the conversation anymore. You're talking about Marquette and Nova.
And Creighton.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't gonna say it. Thought it was kind of obvious. Not that Miami was ever a national title contender, but now
they're not making the tournament.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they got eliminated today.
Probably. Yeah. And that quick shout out to Rodney Terry, who got his panties in a wad for UCF doing horns down, and
just
then
to celebrate like they won the Super Bowl.
He explicitly said we don't jump up and down after winning games, and then quite literally jumped up and down after winning the game today. So
yeah, and there's the Vegas knows that Baylor just isn't a complete team this year. That Texas was 3-point favorites going into that game.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck Texas. Rodney Terry, you're a terrible coach. You shouldn't have a job.
But yeah, anything else we want to chat about?
Kenny Payne started his son today, who scored like 5 points in his college career.
He started it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They lost by 25.
I did see that. I thought it was 35.
That might have been.
Yeah. No, it was 25. It was 90 to 65.
That's the score I had in my head.
Wake Forest, yeah.
Yeah, Wake Forest to let me get his Zon Payne. 17 minutes. Holy shit! He had one foul. He was one foul away from a 17 trillion. Fuck, would that have been unreal? So credit to him for getting some cardio.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, I don't know how much more notable we have. We talked Mountain West. Colorado State avoided not a bad loss because again UNLV is rolling lately, but
Nixon house call. Cut it back. Cut it back. Yes. No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what a recovery! I think you got that back, right?
Yeah,
that was a hell of a recovery. Wow. I don't know who got that, but
a little bit of luck, a little bit of ball skill.
Get an extra 5 yards on the return, attaboy Nixon. I do fight for every inch. Holy fuck! Who recovered that? That was a hell of a play. I mean, it's Packers ball. We're done here. We've already signaled Packers ball. McDuffie, yeah. Oh, hell of a play. All right, yeah.
I think that's... You got more?
I was just going to say, New Mexico, nice 2 wins.
Yep.
Fun team to watch when they're cooking. JT Toppin, best freshman in the country.
Where are they at, 15-3 now?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Go Pack. Till next time.
All right.
Got to get them both this week.
Got to get both, without a question.